Hello everybody, we are starting our fourth Facebook Live.
And Instagram Live?
And Instagram Live, yes. There was one time when Facebook stopped working and actually Instagram was a really good backup for us. So we are waiting for everybody to connect. We'll give it a little bit of time and of course we will start in 8 minutes, but right now we just would like to use this time to talk to you guys. So as you are connecting, please let us know how are you guys doing and if you can hear us well. If the connection is good, please comment plus so we can see if everything works.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining. We're going to again have a little bit of just easygoing talk before 10 a.m. here in Los Angeles. And we're going to start just in a couple of minutes as you guys are joining. All right, guys, if you can hear us well, please leave us a little comment. Please say plus. Hi, everybody. Please let us know if the connection is good. So again, we are home today for this live. As you know, last time we were in the studio. Mm-hmm. Hopefully some of you guys had a chance to watch our previous live, where we were in the studio and we were given a little bit more of a practical exercises, and we were on the subject of posture. So a little bit more practical application of posture was there. If you haven't seen our previous live, it's pre-recorded, it's available for free on one of our social media pages, or again on our website, on our
Maybe
YouTube.
you can say where exactly, yeah, on one of our...
Well, obviously
it's on
our
YouTube and on our website, yaroslavlilia.com. We also would like to say thank you to everybody for supporting our YouTube. We don't know, the algorithm there is still a mystery to us, but over the last months we've had more than 500 people subscribe to our channel, which is really great.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, we never really worked on it. We just downloaded our syllabus videos in there, and they were resting for some time. But then suddenly some YouTube magic happened, and I guess more people started seeing it. So now we have, some views, and we have more people subscribed, which is great.
Yeah, again, guys, hopefully it can be helpful to you too. Right, so we have a lot of syllabus routines pre-recorded with basic steps, basically routine variations, basic routines that you can use to either practice your skills in, or if you are performing in syllabus, you're performing basics at the competitions. This is a great kind of way to look up some steps, look up some routine or combinations that you might want to learn and use for your, again, either competition or practice process.
Yeah, you can definitely use the syllabus videos if you're a teacher or a student, and I find it myself very helpful, because right now, as I'm teaching some syllabus to my students, I can, first of all, I have an idea about routine already, because I can look it up on YouTube, and it's also very helpful for the student. When I am teaching, for example, student by myself and Lilia is not there, then I can show the video and actually really student can see how it's supposed to look like. I think I'm good dancer, but I'm definitely not a very good girl when I'm showing, even though I'm doing my best. Yeah, not very feminine, and not very proper size very often. So it's really good when a person can see right away the girl's part.
Yeah, how routine looks when there are two people dancing, right?
When are you guys watching us from? Leave us a comment. Which city, state or country?
Where are you from? Yes.
We are very curious.
Where are you from? We had so many people from different countries last lives, and it is always such a pleasant surprise for us to read the states or the cities you guys are watching from. It's really exciting and interesting for us to know. Thank you, Mariana.
All right, guys, where are you watching from? We need
Leave
more.
us a comment.
We need more information.
All
Kiev.
right. Kiev, Ukraine, our hometown. Great. Where else? Vegas. Hi, George. Have good time in Vegas. Hope you're enjoying it. Thank you for tuning in.
Las Vegas, exotic destination for many people.
Washington, outside of Washington, D.C.
All right.
Nice.
Any other places?
So far, a lot of U.S.
Connecticut. All right.
Thanks
Thank you.
for joining.
Welcome. We're going to talk today about how to overcome competition anxiety. And of course, right now, another person from Kiev watching. Of course, right now, thanks God, competitions are resuming, at least here in the United States. I think we're very fortunate that we have this chance and opportunity to dance again. So as competitions are resuming, of course, there is a lot of anxiety out there. And I think this is very important subject to talk about, especially right now. Also, we had an experience where last year, 2020, we've done, of course, several competitions before the lockdown, but then after the lockdown, we had about 10 months break. And it was really, really tough to compete again after 10 months break. So this is very...
It is a subject to talk about. I should say it is a subject to talk about, and we're very excited to talk about it today. And we're kind of moving to a different layer of our Prism Method.
Yes.
And this is going to be a performance layer. So we are going to talk about it for the very first time. We're going to touch this layer, and of course, this is very exciting to us, especially before. Again, the competition's resuming. As we're starting to compete, many people are finding themselves in a little bit anxious state, and this is what we're going to talk about today.
And we have someone watching us from Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam.
Oh wow!
Thank you for joining. What time is it in Vietnam? Can you let us know, please?
Let us know.
It's almost 10 a.m. in California. And I guess it's almost 1 p.m. in New York on the East Coast
we
of
have
United
people
States.
from East Coast, New Jersey. We have Memphis, Tennessee.
We have someone watching from
South Bay,
Torrance
nearby.
area.
Right.
Nearby. Vyshgorod, Andrei Voloshka.
Hi, this is Kiev area, right? Okay, guys.
Next time we're in Kiev, we actually really would like to go to Vyshgorod and see what's going on there.
Yeah, what's going on. Thank you for joining, guys. We're happy to see you're joining us. And again, today's subject, overcome competition anxiety, right? Shall we start?
Can you guys please leave us a comment before we start? We just will wait for another maybe 2-3 minutes. Who feels competition anxiety? During the day of competition, perhaps you start feeling it 1 day before, 2 days before, 3 days before. A week before. Maybe you're always anxious because you have 50 competitions a year.
Like
we would like, we would like to know who experienced ever in their lives competition anxiety.
If you were ever nervous about the competition or stressed about the upcoming event, right? Just leave us a comment.
Yeah, please don't be shy. We already told you it was very tough for us to again start competing after 10 months. So there was definitely a lot of anxiety in there.
And of course, we've been through a lot of anxiety as well when we were younger, right? Before we turned professionals, I think there was a lot more anxiety as well for us. So we definitely have experienced that. And how about you guys? We hope that it is an interesting subject. Not during the comp, maybe a week before is maximum level. Yeah, that's interesting to know. A week before is actually very common, and we're going to talk about it a little bit later when people are thinking about the event, or let's say just entering the event or planning the event, getting the tickets to go to the event. Yeah, this is a very common time frame to get anxious or to get nervous before the upcoming competition. Yeah. How about the competition day itself, guys?
Guys, just one person is feeling that, and then me and Lilia, come on, we need to know it. Anxious because I feel I might have fallen behind during the pandemic. Well, yeah, I think that's a legit comment, and sorry that you feel this way, but it's tough for everybody, and considering the fact that we are being compared during competition and everybody had some struggles, maybe there is no such a big
we're like
there.
They say, we're in it together, and we all had this huge break. So for sure, please don't be discouraged that you've been sort of behind as we all were. So this is, this is for sure impacted all of us. All right.
I believe that we were not all in this together, really. I'm sorry to say that, because different states, especially here in US, different states had different regulations, and some people were really on lockdown. Some dancers were not able to practice at all for several months.
That's true.
We were very fortunate. We had a studio where we could practice. We were there by ourselves. But nevertheless, you know, definitely everybody was in it together as far as not competing, because really for a long period of time there were really no competitions. Again, right now some countries they're allowing competitions, others don't, but if we're talking about United States, I think more or less people have a chance to compete right now, which is great.
Yes.
Hello from Montreal.
Hello. Nice
Hello
to see
Sue,
you.
my dear student. Thank you for watching us.
Thank you for watching. All right.
All right, guys, so let's start our lecture. We have, I think, enough people, especially on Facebook, and some few people on Instagram. So again, the subject of today's lecture is overcome competition anxiety. And if we are talking about it from the perspective of our Prism method, this is our performance layer. Performance layer is very complex. It includes many things in it, and we will be talking about the anxiety, which is more on the psychological and physiological level of human behavior, of
during the performance.
human being. Yeah, because on performance level we can also talk about, you know, floor craft, how to stay out of trouble during competition to get the most marks, and some strategy and tactics and everything. But this is
one of the aspects.
Yeah, this is one of the aspects. I'm sorry, we just have a few more comments I would like to share, and then we start. So Tracy says that 2-3 weeks out I feel not ready. Then closer to the comp I get excited and feel ready. Day of the comp I feel nervous, but no real thoughts or reasons. As a pro-am it takes a few rounds to feel comfortable, and I'm trying to shorten that time. Thank you very much for your comment.
Thank you, for the honesty. This is
And
very
then
detailed.
Diana says, she's from UK. Thank you for joining us. We won't compete until June, but I'm always more tense on the day. That causes me sorry, it's the light. To lose, I think. All right. Yeah. Sorry, guys. It just the light is
light is very
rising
bright.
into my face. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so
Thank
much
you for your comments. Yeah.
Today we're going to discuss the competition day, particularly from a psychological part of it, and hopefully this will help you to be more ready and to feel less nervous, less anxious on a competition day or a few days prior, right?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that frame.
So we will have two parts into our today's lecture. One part we can call a part about sports psychology, and this is the source of information that we will be using for today's. And another part is more about tactics and how to self-regulate and how to choose the right tactics. At least we will give you some options on that. Not to be too anxious and not to be too nervous.
And again, the right tactics will give you a right psychological state. So those two sciences, they basically will go together. Those two subjects go really very much together. Very
interconnected. So our background is we are bachelors in physical education and sport, and we graduated in Kiev. So in our university, we were actually studying ballroom dancing from the perspective of some sport, physical activity. And of course, the way we define it in Ukraine in our university is that ballroom dancing is a complex, coordinated physical activity. It is very extremely difficult. People in Ukraine are making a lot of studies on this matter. I think the studies will take some time, but they have a lot of progress. The bottom line is that it's complicated, and there are many rules that are applicable to ballroom dancing as a physical activity, same rules as we have in other sports. For example, in gymnastics or sometimes in some martial arts. So there are many things that we can say are very similar. Yeah, of course, the one part about ballroom dancing that is very different from other, if you want to say sports, is that we need to do some very complicated physical activity in the most inappropriate attire for it. So I don't think you guys will go around on high heels normally and dress full of stones, and same for our tail suits and other costumes. But nevertheless, you know, this is what we have, and I think this is why we actually love ballroom dancing, for its beauty and grace and everything.
Let me just answer this question real quick. Can you please share the link to the lecture on Instagram? It is going to be on my profile. I'm now live from my Instagram. It's Lilia Belay, if you want to join Instagram live.
Yeah. So coming back to our subject, as a form of competition, we are running ballroom dancing as a sport event. You can decide for yourself. You believe it's a sport or art. If you want to know our opinion, this is a little bit off topic, but if you want to know our opinion, again, based on our knowledge from the university, I personally, and I think Lilia agreed with me, at least yesterday, last night, that this is more as a professional sport, something like NBA in United States, or you know, MLS, or baseball league. For the record, NBA in United States is not considered as a sport. I don't know how many guys you guys know about it or not, but this is just an entertainment industry. But of course,
which professional sport is? It is an entertainment industry.
Which professional sport is
different from Olympic sports, basically from sporty sport that we all imagine. Yeah.
Of course, basketball players in United States, they can be also an Olympic athletes. That requires a little bit different eligibility very often. But if we're talking about NBA, that's a professional sport. I think if we're talking about ballroom dancing, for me would make more sense if we consider ourselves as a professional sport and some kind of entertainment industry. So the basketball players are definitely doing a lot of physical activity and looks like a sport. Nevertheless, it's an industry, a business model that works successfully. So we really hope, and let's pray all together, in the near future it's gonna work at least half successfully,
as good as NBA,
half as
right?
good as NBA, yes, worldwide.
And as they say, any kind of sports, any kind of professional sports on a highest possible level is a form of art. So I think this is when the skill is at its maximum, when those athletes or dancers in our case are doing such a great job using their body in such an amazing way that it becomes truly an art. So this is what we think about ballroom dancing, at least, right?
For sure, yeah. So on a very high level, anything is an art, really. You know, you're playing football, soccer, and you're scoring a goal, and the goal looks so beautiful. That's an art. But I don't think that the person who is hitting the ball is thinking too much about some artistry. I think it's very precise. There is a certain technique, certain preparation, again, tactics, psychology, and everything involved in it. So this is just our opinion. If you guys agree, put plus. If you disagree, press minus, and then maybe we'll talk about it more later.
Yeah, we can make a separate live on that subject. It is a big subject.
So now we're talking about dance competition as actually a sport form, because we are competing as a sport.
We are being compared,
Yeah, we are being compared. That's not a normal thing for a regular person. So that's why it's okay to have some anxiety. Paige agrees. Thank you very much, Paige. So that's why we have some anxiety. Of course, people don't like being compared. I, for example, very much hate it. Everybody who knows me, you know, I don't like that stuff so much. Nevertheless, I really enjoy competition. So I acknowledge that I don't like being compared, which is an essential part of the comp, but I like the whole process. Then when we have not the normal situation where we are competing, plus we have all the makeup, all the tail suits, dresses and everything, of course we get this anxiety. And some people, they get anxiety just by looking at the dress, not even before wearing the dress.
Just by entering the competition. So again, anxiety comes from a stress factor. And stress factors, talking about competitions, there are many of them. So starting with the comparison factor, finishing the factor of like how am I going to look, what is my attire is going to feel like, how's my makeup going to turn out from the girl's perspective, right?
Of course.
And then again, am I going to do a good job with that particular step? Is my partner ready? And am I ready? Do I remember the routine? How's my technique? Is the music going to be too long, too slow, too fast? So many stress factors, right? New place, new floor. How's the floor consistency is going to feel like? All these factors, new shoes. Every single detail about the competition potentially could be stressful.
My mom just connected. Hi, Mama.
Hi, Mom.
From Kiev, Ukraine. I have to behave now. All right, so we will not reinvent the wheel here. We just would like to read the definition of anxiety, very simple one, and just so we get into the lecture. So anxiety is an emotion characterized by an unpleasant state of inner turmoil, often accompanied by nervous behavior such as pacing back and forth, somatic complaints, and rumination. It includes subjectively unpleasant feelings of dread over anticipated events. Anxiety is a feeling of uneasiness and worry, usually generalized and unfocused as an overreaction to a situation that is only subjectively seen as menacing. It is often accompanied by muscular tension, thank you very much, restlessness, fatigue, and problems in concentration. And I think this is really what a lot of people are experiencing in ballroom dancing, right?
Yeah.
Anxiety is closely related to fear, which is a response to a real or perceived immediate threat. Anxiety involves the expectation of future threat, or I would say future event, competition, or prize presentation, yeah. People facing anxiety may withdraw from situations which have provoked anxiety in the past. So definitely, you go to competition and you have bad experience, you would like to withdraw from that kind of experience for the future events. Yeah.
Hello from Munich. Thank you
Hello,
for joining.
Germany.
Right, so very good, Yaroslav. So we have a very full definition of an anxiety. And talking in our words, basically anxiety is an emotional reaction to a stress factor. Again, we figured and determined that competition has many stress factors, or we can say a competition, any kind of performance, it is this one big complex stress factor. And the fun thing, like the interesting fact about anxiety, that again, it is not necessarily happening as a reaction to the real threat, the real stress, right? So it can be an expectation of a threat, expectation of something bad's going to happen. It can be not even real, so it can appear even beforehand the event itself.
Ron says, don't practice until you get it right. Practice until you can get it wrong. I agree absolutely 100%.
And we're going to talk about practice as a
but nevertheless,
tool.
you practice, and for the dancers, you have a dance competition. Still, there is some anxiety.
Yeah. So of course, good practice gives us like this confidence, and we know we've done it so many times at practice. Nevertheless, there are many other stress factors that can sometimes.
So guys, as we mentioned before, we are coming from, we have some education in physical education and sport.
And sport psychology, yeah. Well, me.
Oh, okay. Sports psychologist. Yes. Yeah. So maybe you will do the lecture now. Yeah. So in Eastern Europe, there are many studies about sport psychology, different tactics, and everything. And the information we are going to be using right now is coming from our background. I am not aware if those studies are even translated to different languages. I don't know, there might be. So we hope that our translation is accurate and you will be able to get the point. And one of the chiefs in our university, his family name is Platonov. His books are really, fundamental in those studies. and basically he described the whole process of sport and preparation on every layer for the athlete. We have those books. They're very big and fat books. Maybe we can show you. Maybe we can show you later. Yes. So some information coming from there in the structure, and some information from different sources. So when you have an event coming as an athlete, you basically have, if we're talking from the psychological and physiological point of view for the athlete, we have three main states, psychological states, that our mind and body is in before we are actually start competing. And I will just name those three states, and I know Lilia would like to talk more about them. So with our translation, the first state, that is the
Ron's gonna like it.
The optimal.
Ron's gonna like it now.
The optimal state for the performance is called combat readiness. This is where all your functions are at your best. You have a very good balance in your body between all your, internal organs, nerve system, and brain, and everything, and there is a good response from your body.
So combat readiness.
Combat readiness.
Totally
before,
ready.
yes, you're engaging in combat. Another start will be a pre-start fever.
Another state.
Sorry. And the last one is pre-start apathy. So of course, fever, where we are extremely
anxious and stressed and active. And
yes. And I think this is maybe
most common.
Yeah. And of course, there is also a pre-start apathy, where we actually don't want to start anymore. And sometimes people are, falling asleep before competition. They don't want to do it. They don't want to warm up. And this is what this pre-start apathy is all about.
Which is also a stressful kind of
You
state,
also have to understand, guys, we will go through those states right now. You need to realize that based on your type of temper, is temper the right word? Temperament, yeah. You are going through all of those states before you actually start competing.
Meaning any dancer, any human being will experience all of these states. Hopefully without getting stuck in one of them for too long. So we do experience all three states during the competition. Our goal is to get on the floor with a combat readiness state.
Correct. So you might experience fever first, everything is going up. Then you have this apathy and you don't want to do anything, including the warm-up and competition. You want to scratch, whatever. And then, of course, you kind of stabilize it on that combat readiness.
And we will show you how. We will.
And you go and compete and perform your maximum.
Your best, right. So let's talk about each of these states a little bit more detailed. And we're going to just talk about it from a scientific point of view. And then we're going to maybe share our experience with it a little bit. So let's take those two states and see the pre-start fever first. So what are the symptoms or what are the signs for the pre-start fever? I'm sorry, question from Emily. I could not understand what you said about the last two states. Were they pre-start fever and pre-start apathy? Yes, Emily.
We're just starting to talk about it right now, so you didn't miss anything.
You didn't miss it. So the fever. So your fever will feel like heartbeat is going to increase. You're going to feel maybe a little bit sweaty, even a little bit hot. Like your mind can get blurry, you can get super stressed, and again, this anxiety, everything in your body speeds up. And the ability to focus is going to be lost. Yeah, so you are going to always feel that kind of rush, like you want to go and do something very fast. So
like Lilia does right now.
I am very much kind of prone to this state. Yeah, if I would talk about my temperament later on. But yeah, so everything in your body starts to speed up. Again, when you experience this kind of state, our job is to self-regulate and to control it, to bring ourselves sort of back to this normal readiness state. And how we can do this, there are a few methods. So first is, let's take it from the physical point of view. First, warm up. If we're talking only about the competition day, right? So we have to warm up according to our state. So if we are in this fever state, we have to take a very slow pace warm up. We have to do very slow exercises, no swinging, no jerking movement. So very slow, everything is very flowing, maybe some yoga, maybe some Pilates, you know, nothing super active, nothing super fast.
The point is we need to slow ourselves down because
Yes.
all the physiological processes in our body are at increased rate, which is not good.
They're accelerated, right?
They're accelerated.
Yes, so our job is on the physical level, take very easy and slow stretching, maybe exercises. So super flowing, this is what I use during my competition day, before my competition when I warm up. So super flowing, very stretchy movement, yeah, very slow pace warm up. The next thing that we can do when we experience pre-start fever is breathing exercises. And again, when breathing, taking it in very slow pace, breathing 5 counts, hold 5 counts, breathe out 5 counts. So again, very, very slow breathing techniques, whatever breathing techniques you might know, you heard about. Anything that helps to calm down that breathing and to calm down that heartbeat, yeah, accelerated heartbeat.
So Lilia is talking about it if you have it at the competition day, let's say, or maybe like 6 or 5 hours before the start. What is interesting is that you can experience those symptoms and that state, which is a pre-start fever we're talking about right now, few days before the event, or sometimes when you actually decide even to participate at the event.
Way
so
before.
you can experience it way before. So let's say, I'm just making it up, 1 month ago I decided to participate at Emerald Ball. And right away, because I know that this is a big important competition, for whatever reason, now there is a chance that I can experience this pre-start fever starting from 1 month ago. It can go in and out, but basically there might be a period of time for like 1 week, 10 days that you have it. And you need, the important thing is that you guys need to know it, to acknowledge it. Because that's absolutely normal. Those are studies that are proven, and those things, they really do exist. You can have the pre-start fever when you see the hit list of your competition.
And that's it, you lost the ability to sleep.
Yeah, then you can have
Restless.
insomnia, restlessness, and things like that, which is also not good because that puts you under a lot of pressure and stress. So Lilia was giving you some exercises at the day of competition, how to warm up, and she's absolutely right. But what if I have this state when I checked my hit list and I have 4 days to go to the competition and I have to still practice, because you don't want to not practice for 1 week before the event, right? So in this case, of course, this self-regulation is really important. It's really important to have the right teacher that knows those things. And of course,
Can guide you.
Yeah, can guide you. The practices before the competition, if you're in this state 4 days before the event, practices, they should be without too much of pressure. Of course, you have to make it for yourself as interesting and as easy as possible. There is no way to dig too deep into it, and it's not that there is no way, but it definitely won't help, because the person, let's call the athlete, right, is already under a lot of stress from this pre-start fever, and the more you're working on things, actually the worse it gets. And again, my student Sue is watching right now. I just got the notification, and I know some of my other students are watching, Paige and everybody. And you guys know how before the competition, sometimes I even finish the lesson earlier. And it's not that I don't wanna work more, or I don't need money or anything like that. But I am very aware of those states, and I realize that the more lessons we do sometimes before the competition, the worse it's gonna get. Because it's very easy to lose confidence in yourself when you are in that kind of state, and it will really make no good for us for the upcoming event. So that's just something I wanted to add, that you can also have this state, not just the day before the comp, but period of time before the competition.
Yeah, a couple of days. So if we talk about training process before an event, and we talk about this pre-start fever before the event, so training has to be accordingly to that, very positive. So also the self-regulation that we have to do to ourselves has to be very positive, creating the right mindset, calming yourself down. And there is also many techniques which they say self-hypnosis. They call it self-hypnosis, when you literally just, keep talking this mantra inside your own head that I can do this, I'm the best, I'm totally capable of doing it, I'm going to perform my best, and stuff like that. So self-hypnosis, as a few days before the competition as well as the competition, they're really very helpful.
Yeah. Never worked for me though, but I think
Because
a lot of people find it helpful. That's true.
Yeah.
I agree with
I
you.
actually showed it, and I've been posting this on my social media as well. I actually showed one very encouraging video of a small girl. She was standing on a sink, literally with her feet, talking to herself in the mirror, and she was super positive, saying, I can do anything good, I can do this well, I can do that, and I like my hair, and I like my outfit. So something super positive, and I actually showed it to one of my students, and I know probably they are watching as well. I actually showed it at the lesson, and I found this was so helpful. So again, the positiveness at the training before an important event, the positive mindset, self-regulation, and as well coming from a coach, coming from a teacher, is super important to regulate that pre-start fever state, as well as actually pre-start apathy, I should say. If a person, we're going to describe the apathy in a second, but if a person experienced kind of a downward, down state, pre-start apathy.
Processes are decelerating.
Yeah, this kind of encouraging, positive mindset, again, self-regulation, positive thinking, easy practice will also help to get to this combat readiness state.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's talk about pre-start apathy.
Apathy.
What do you think?
Right.
Yeah, maybe you can give us a little bit more idea.
Pre-start apathy. So all the physiological processes in our body, they decelerate, and of course you might experience things like you don't want to compete, you feel sleepy sometimes, you don't want to warm up before the competition, and those are the things that can tell you that this is the pre-start apathy. Again, it's normal to have those states. There is no reason to, you cannot get rid of them. You just have to acknowledge them and work with them. So I feel pre-start apathy every time, to be honest with you, as well as the pre-start fever. So my apathy sometimes, if we're taking a taxi to the venue, or I'm driving to the venue, or somebody drives me to the venue, I might even fall asleep in the car, which sounds really crazy because I'm about to go and compete in, 2.5 hours. But at that time, I feel I'm absolutely exhausted. I don't want to do anything. And this is how I personally experience this pre-start apathy, which is, again, this is absolutely normal.
The funny fact, because I am usually experiencing either the readiness state or a fever state. However, right after I do the first round, I always, no matter what, I feel super sleepy. I always have the apathy right between the rounds, right after I've done the first round. So again, I have this state as well, funny enough.
Yeah, sure.
So again, we want to go to sleep,
and I think
we don't want to compete, we don't want to move, the heartbeat is slowing down, the breathing is kind of very slow and calm.
I think the word here that works for that state is indifference. You really don't care about...
You don't care. You don't
about
want to do
anything. You don't want to do it, you want to go home and fall asleep.
So how to regulate?
You can regulate it many different ways. Again, acknowledging it is already a first step to regulate it. And the warm-up in that state, first of all, you have to tell yourself, even though I don't want to warm up, I have to warm up because I have to be combat ready and ready for the competition. Warm-up actually has to be on the faster side. So like Lilia mentioned earlier, if you have apathy, you have to calm yourself down during warm-up.
When you have fever.
When you have apathy, you have to lift yourself up to the normal level here. So the warm-up has to be faster. You have to, if we're talking about dance competition, maybe dance to the music. I'm not saying full out, but you can listen to the music. You have to do some energetic moves that will help you to speed yourself up. I don't think that when you have apathy and you start to stretch, that definitely won't help. And again, the main thing is to acknowledge and to say that those states are absolutely normal, really.
Remember, they are reactions to the stress. As any emotion that occurs in our body, it is very temporary. So on a physiological level, every kind of body reaction to an emotion is very temporary. It's what we do with it, how our mindset then chooses to, how our minds are then choose to deal with those emotions. This is crucial. So emotion comes and goes. The pre-start state, either it's a fever or an apathy, it comes and goes. Readiness can go, unfortunately, too, right? So our job is to acknowledge it, be aware of the states, be aware of that reaction of our body, and regulate. So
when you have pre-start apathy, again, I hope that our translation works well here, but there are types of exercises that we can do, which is called ideomotor exercises. So what that means is you can literally not move, but you can imagine all of the moves inside your head. And this type of training, ideomotor, proved to be very, very effective. There are numerous studies on that where, just giving you a quick example, the athlete is injured before the Olympics. They have an Olympic cycle, which is 6 to 8 years, and they know that they're gonna qualify for Olympics and they will be performing out there. And then for some reason, unfortunate reason, the athlete is injured. Let's say like 2 years before the Olympics, which is a big problem for Olympic athletes. So now that injured athlete is going through a rehab, or sometimes they are actually, at the hospital. They definitely cannot practice or training. But by doing these ideomotor exercises and performing in their head all their routine, what they're going to be doing at the competition, it's been proved that it works, and actually people and athletes are staying in shape, in a good sport, shape.
Like their condition stays the same, they don't lose
they condition themselves
the shape.
Even during the injury, without any practice. And these ideomotor exercises, they always help. So if you just, I can be sitting here, I close my eyes and I'm doing my curved feather or feather step several times. It is almost as powerful as me going and practicing at the studio. And of course, we have more opportunity to do it during the day, because to go to the studio, you have very limited time frame and you have to drive and change and everything, where you can do those ideomotor training anytime, anywhere, at your kitchen, and you can drink tea and do it. So the opportunities are really endless here.
And
yes.
the thing about ideomotor training is that you have to be really super focused about it. So let's say you decide to do your routine from the beginning to the end. And I really like mental practice, mentality.
Mentally
practice, yeah. Sorry, this light is actually
the light is killing me.
So again, the important thing is to go as detailed as possible.
Yep.
And to stay as concentrated as possible. Let's say you're drinking tea at your kitchen, don't get distracted don't get distracted and start thinking about the tea. If, let's say, you decided to dance your waltz routine from the beginning till the end, you really have to focus on how you're gonna do it, like really going through each motion, really feeling each body part doing that without actually moving, but imagining this in your mind as detailed as possible. So I think there were studies when that injured athlete girl was doing the ideomotor training in her bed in the hospital, and she was sweating.
She was sweating and losing weight.
She was sweating during the ideomotor training.
Without moving.
Yeah,
I don't know, guys. Have you heard about ideomotor exercises? Just comment plus or minus. We are very curious.
Yeah, or maybe you, without knowing this terminology, maybe you've been already doing this. Maybe you do imagine your routine, you do imagine how you dance sometimes. Let us know if this is in your practice, if you've ever tried this. We're very curious.
For us, that's
Hopefully
something
you did.
we used to study, so we are aware of it, but we actually don't know if people really know it or not.
This is, yeah, some kind of a meditation almost, I would say, before the competition, for me at least. If I don't do that in my mind, I would feel really stressed.
Yeah.
So for
So
me,
Violet
this is definitely...
and Wendy, they know it.
Very
That's
good,
great.
very
We're
good.
happy.
Emily, well done. All right, so ideal motor training we spoke about, right? We spoke about self-hypnosis. We spoke about how to self-regulate and use different tools such as warm-up or breathing exercises, or just setting basically your recognizing your state, right? And giving yourselves those signals that, okay, I have to calm down, or I have to bring myself up accordingly. Okay, we have many comments here. Let's read them out. I dance my routines often in bed at night before going to sleep. Very good. Started it with skiing. Yeah, very good. Seeing other sports, this is a very popular practice. Yeah. I have not heard about it, but I do it all the time. Very good. Me too. Great job, guys. Really glad you are fascinated for those times where there's an injury. Yeah,
we have very knowledgeable audience. So
yeah,
we
I do this all the time.
We really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, well done, guys. Well done. So this is a great thing to do. And again, let us know if this ever you feel like it helps you to calm down before the competition. If it helps you kind of fight that anxiety that might occur.
Yeah. So far, all those states that we have shared with you, they are very much on. Psychological and also physiological levels, because this is all very much there is no mystery and magic in here.
Yeah.
It's very much connected to your nervous system
and the type of temperament, actually, right?
Yes, and also there are there are things that work certain way, our internal organs with our nerves and brain and everything, and they very much define in which state you are. Then if Lilia wants to share
the type of temperament. So as you know, there are 4 types of temperament in psychology, and they are first sanguine, second phlegmatic, third choleric, and fourth melancholic. All right, I hope my pronunciation is all right. So again, according to your type of temperament, and you can Google it and you can figure out, there are so many tests on the internet where you can really answer the questions and figure out which type of temperament you are. According to the type of temperament you have, you are more prone to one or another state, pre-start state. So let's say I know myself that, and again, I have to mention that everybody will have a different kind of percentage of all 4 types of temperament in them. So everyone will have a little bit of melancholic, a little bit of choleric, a little bit of that, but one of the temperaments are going to be dominating, right? So I know myself, I'm sanguine and choleric. Okay, so I have a little bit of melancholic and phlegmatic in me, but mostly I'm sanguine, sometimes choleric. So when we talk about those pre-state conditions, the types of temperament that are considered like a calmer and stronger ones are sanguine and phlegmatics. So those 2 are more, again, prone to get into the combat readiness state easier, and a little bit more kind of weaker types of temperament, which are choleric and melancholic, are more prone to different kind of extremes, right? So again, cholerics would be more getting the pre-start fever, and melancholics, which are more kind of calmer, they're more prone to getting pre-start apathy. So knowing myself, I'm sanguine, which helps me to get into the ready state easier, but also I'm a choleric sometimes. I do experience mostly the competition fever, which is I'm getting too anxious, too active, and my heartbeat goes fast and stuff like that. How about you, Yaroslav? What would you say?
Lilia told me that I'm more sanguine and phlegmatic.
Which makes you really...
Which is great really because apparently those are 2 strong types, and I'm very durable in this case. But I have to agree, I guess, with her, because that's also how I feel, and I think those are 2 my personal dominating types. And I have to say, I'm very fortunate based on all those things that I would say 99% of the time I'm just combat ready. Like those states, fever and apathy, they're coming through me. Yeah, they're coming to me and going, and I really don't care about that stuff. All I care is, you know, I'm gonna go and compete. And that's something I had all the time. As long as I remember myself competing, I don't think I was nervous ever to a point where, you know, I'm shaking, I have this pre-start fever and I cannot hear the music and stuff like that. Of course, I'm getting excited, but I think that's good excitement that we all need to have for the competition. So normally, you know, my mind is very still, you know, cold hard, and I'm ready to go. Very lucky, yeah.
Very lucky. Nevertheless, you recognize when I'm stressed and you help me to kind of overcome that.
I try, yeah.
Yes,
sometimes
yes.
more or less successful. And again, nevertheless, I experience the apathy as well. I experience this fever a little bit as well. So that's normal.
Again, guys, what I would like to mention here is that, again, this is an emotion that comes and goes. It is not a permanent state. So what we have to tell ourselves that we can totally regulate it, that this anxiety will go through our body. Yes, it will give us certain physiological reaction. It will go, okay? It is not a permanent state. We have to really set this mindset that we are in control. We are not the anxiety. Anxiety is not a part of us. It is something that we experience. It is temporary and it leaves our bodies and our minds, hopefully.
And I think, Lilia, right now it's time to move into our second part of the lecture, which is tactics. And we will be talking also a little bit more about the self-regulation. So we mentioned already all the states that we can be at and that we recognize right now and acknowledge, and then tactics. So we would like just to think about it from this point of view. The tactics can be for one event, can be for a series of events, or for some period of time. So if you take us, for example, at the moment this month, and again, we're very lucky in here, we have 3 competitions. So we went to San Francisco, we went to Orange County, Ballroom Beach Bash, it was great competition, and then the one more we have is Emerald Ball, our professional competitions. So for those 3 events, if anything happens for us that we, I'm just making it up, a scenario, right? If anything happens for us and we get so upset at the first competition, for sure our second competition is already screwed up because we are not in a good mental state, we are lacking confidence, and then we do our first event, we are preparing, we are okay, then we are getting upset for whatever reason. Our second event already will be a disaster, and then our third event, that is, let's say, the most important one and the final one in this cycle, is a 50-50% chance, which is not a very high chance if you want to, you know, do well. So how can you be resistant to any kind of trouble in here? So this is where we really need to have some tactics, basically, and we just want to share a few things about it. Just want to read Emily's comment. At the risk of being sexist, now we're in trouble.
I think then that men are often more combat ready than women. Women seem to be more in favor of a pathetic state. At least my husband seems to perceive the competition just like the practice studio, while I feel more of the fever.
All right.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing.
Well, that's, yeah.
I think we're just like, most of the time we're more emotional, probably. So that's why the emotions come easier to us. We react to those stress factors more.
I think, yeah, I mean, every person is different.
Every person is different.
Yeah, men and women, we all have, you know, different perspective on things. I think this is absolutely normal.
Yeah.
I think this is what makes our ballroom dancing so interesting, because we need to dance with each other, to deal with each other, and it's very exciting to be a dancer, and also it's very exciting to watch dancers compete. I think that's what makes it very beautiful, very unexpected, and that's why we like it.
And again, jumping a little bit forward, depending on the type of temperament, that's why the personalization comes out differently, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So
that's
how
why
we react to those stress factors.
We have so many options to mix and match.
Yes.
So coming back to tactics. Yeah. So as I mentioned, let's say we have 3 events. Now, what is very important to do here? we before going to an event, we always it's always helpful to have some reference point based on something more or less that you can control. If I'm doing a step and I don't feel or I don't have the reference point for myself, I have no chance to evaluate how I'm doing it. I always need a teacher, I always rely on somebody else's opinion in here, and
Mark.
I'm doing a step, yeah, or maybe on Mark, maybe on my teacher saying that
Did right or
yes,
wrong.
you did right, no, you're doing it wrong. And sometimes you're thinking, well, I feel I'm doing just exactly the same thing. So how can you tell me it's right or wrong? Would be nice if I know when it's right or wrong. Then I'm more in control of the movement and myself, and then I have this confidence to go out and perform. And I'm sure that many of you guys, had or having similar experience. So same for the dance competition. First thing that you can have as your own reference point or reference point for your team, if we are talking about competing with your partner, can be a teacher or amateur partner, professional partner. You need to set up the goals correctly, and I think the word here is adequate. So, for example, I am not competing in Latin. And now let's say we're switching with Lilia to Latin.
I would really love to
So
do
for me,
that samba to that song finally.
Yes, me too. We like Latin, but we're not Latin dancers. So for us to switch to Latin and expect that we will have same results as in standard is completely reckless. And I think makes absolutely no sense. So we need to set ourselves a goal. So my goal, my adequate goal for the first Latin competition would be I go out there and I perform 5 dances. I try not to die.
Not to forget the routine.
Yeah, not to die after the second dance samba, and just not to forget the routine. If that's my goal, I think I'm pretty much capable of doing it with some practice. No matter what results I'm getting, I'm not losing my confidence and I'm ready to go for other competitions and I feel I achieved something. If I'm going out there and I'm thinking, right now I'm doing Latin and I will be, number one at that competition, or I'm gonna do a final in US championship or something like that, and for sure I'm not gonna be able to make it.
That's an inadequate
This
goal.
is really inadequate goal that doesn't make any sense. Now sometimes the goal for the competition can be, there were a few years in a row, it was just a coincidence for us, but we were going to one competition and we would always, every year, have new quick step routine at that competition. I think Lilia knows what I'm talking about. So we are going there and our goal is, we're doing our 4 dances the best we can and we're trying to get first place. And for the quick step only, we're just trying to go through the routine. And we are praying that that competition has few rounds so we can dance more quick step out there. So
that's the goal for quick step.
That's the goal for quick step, but also for the competition. So then, if I'm getting, let's say, 4 first places for all dances and 5th place for the quick step, based on my goal, I'm not upset because I just wanted to make it through with the quick step. If I'm having good results in all dances, that's even better. I mean, I accomplished even more than I planned originally. So this is just an example of whatever goals we can set up. Goals can be more simple as well. So the goals can be I am like a youth or amateur rising star competitor and I know I'm preparing for some very big event like Blackpool Dance Festival. And my goal is to survive the Rising Stars at Blackpool, where we have like 30 couples on the floor in one heat, right? Competing. So now my goal before Blackpool would be to do as many competitions as I can and try to avoid the traffic. So my goal is floor craft because I know that in Blackpool, when I have 30 couples, people don't really care first 2-3 rounds how I dance and where I'm coming from. All they care is just to see my number. So hopefully when I'm dancing well, they see my number and they can mark me. Talking about from the judge's point of view. So if no one knows me, but I think I'm so talented and I can make, many rounds through in Blackpool, my goal has to be just to show my number to the judges. So my tactics is I'm going to competitions as many as I can and I'm trying to avoid any kind of collision. that's
as an
the
example
goal.
of
Yeah.
another goal,
That's
right?
the example of another goal, which is much more simple, I think, much more concrete. And the reference point, again, yes, I depend on traffic, but no, I depend on myself. That's the reference point I set up for myself to avoid traffic, because that's the skill. I can develop it with my teacher. I can definitely evaluate it as I'm doing it. No one will tell me yes or no, because I'm not stupid. I see if I
Either you crash into
Yeah,
the
I
couple
crash
or you don't.
or not, yeah. Or I'm backing the judges with my number, or I'm facing the judges, and no matter how pretty I am,
They cannot
people
mark
just don't see my number, so they cannot mark me. And there are another 29 couples on the floor, so they don't really have time for it.
So we're talking about adequate goal setting in order to prevent anxiety at the one event particularly, or in the series of events. Meaning, if you set adequate goal for one of the events and you achieve it, you will not get upset not achieving the other goals, maybe that or if, let's say, you didn't have any goal, you're easily upset with whatever stress factor is there, either the result or your partner or the floor condition or
Sure.
Something else. So adequate goal setting helps you long term to prevent competition anxiety, and helps you to prevent the anxiety after the competition and prior to the next event. That is the main point here.
Sure. Another point, again, that we made, and we would like to repeat, that reference point should be internal and not external.
Something you can control. In other words,
yeah. You don't want to have, sorry Lily, you don't want to have too many babysitters telling you what to do, and at the same time you don't understand what's going on with you. So you have to find out from any source of knowledge, can be your teachers or someone else, something else. You have to find some reference point that you are in control of. It can be something really simple.
Another thing that is very important is adequate
self-esteem.
Self-esteem, or otherwise, other words, adequate evaluation of your dancing or of your product, wherever you want to show. So if you give yourself an adequate evaluation, let's say, today I can do my silver routine very well, but if I would go, let's say, to an open gold routine, I would probably not do it very well. So I give myself an adequate evaluation. This is where I am at the moment, and this is my level, and I want to basically, if I want to compete at another level, I have to be aware that maybe today I'm not an open gold level yet, but let's say my goal is to try it out, see how it feels when other couples around me on the floor are doing open goal routines, and run my choreography, run my open routine maybe at this particular event. But at the same time, giving yourself a adequate self-evaluation. So according to where you are at the moment and wherever you are, it is absolutely great, it is absolutely fine. Everyone has their own pace and their own level in this particular moment of time. You have to appreciate where you are, and then give yourself, and again, an adequate evaluation of your product, and therefore adequate goal setting.
Thank you, Lila.
Yeah.
So now one of our great teachers, and my teacher that I know for many years, since I'm 12 years old, he always says that you have to win on your assets and not lose on your liabilities at the competition. So if I'm going out there and I'm competing, and I know that my asset, let's say, is posture, and my liability is my, I don't know, speed factor or something like that, that I'm not very fast competitor. Again, I'm making it up. You have to again evaluate. Do you want to really show people your great posture also based on your competitors? Talking about tactics. And actually don't put in your routine too many syncopations, not to look stupid and too slow in comparison to other couples. And that would be your winning formula. Or you want to stop practicing your posture at all and try to actually work more on your speed and work more on your problems. Will those problems be ready for the competition so you actually can go and show your product at your best?
Or will it take out of your confidence?
Correct. Or you are going to lose on that liability. So based on my teacher, you have to go out there with your assets. And I think that's a very good tactics. Again, if we're talking about series of events and you know your assets and your liabilities, again, I remember what happened with me and Lilia a few years ago. We were, I guess, some changing some routine or something like that, on working on some sharpness in tango, or something like that. I don't remember exactly. And then one person made us a comment that, oh, you guys dance great, but this tango, it was too sharp. All I can see was sharpness and the speed and everything like that.
No contrast, right?
Yeah, like no contrast. But we were totally ready for this kind of comment, and actually it sounded like it's a bad thing, but I remember my response was very strange to that person, even though very normal for me, because I said, I'm very happy you are saying this to us, because that's what we've been working on, actually.
Sharpness, yes.
Sharpness in tango, let's say. So I'm very happy that you recognized it, because that was really our goal. We went there, and our intention was to show sharpness in tango. So
again, the comment was negative, but we took it super positive.
Comment was negative, yeah. And
because that was the goal, right?
We said, this is great, because what we worked on actually comes across well, and it shows. If we wouldn't be aware of it, imagine what that kind of comment can make with a competitor. So suddenly you're thinking, oh my God, I'm too sharp, this is not good, what should I do? And then if you have series of events, maybe for another competition, you already screwed up with this kind of
before
comment.
any tango.
So it's how you take that comment, but also how you evaluate yourself, and what is your goal for that competition, and what are you working on. You always have to be on top of things in this case.
I think in terms of self-evaluation, or let's say just an evaluation of your product, of your dancing, it is a great thing to use the Prism pyramid that we have, because we break it down to layers. So again, there's syllabus, there's posture, mechanics, dynamics, performance, musicality, personalization. So you can take a look at those layers, and you can think to yourself, or
what is your asset here?
What am I good at? Is my posture really better than everything else? So this is my asset. Is my musicality better than everything else? Then this is your asset. And then you think about, okay, what is maybe the weakest department that I have? Is it syllabus? Do I have to work on my footwork? Or do I lack personalization? Do I really want to have a look at, let's say, my routines, or the way I dress up, the way the whole attire looks? What can I bring out of myself? Like, what else can I add in terms of personalization to my dancing? So you can really use the pyramid that we have for Prism Method to evaluate your product, to evaluate your dancing, and give yourself a mark. Let's say from 1 to 10. Okay, my personalization is 10, but my posture may be a 2.
So give yourself a mark, and I'm thinking from 8 to 10.
From 1 to 10. Let's say...
this is my level of confidence at the moment.
From 8 to 10?
The worst is 8 to 10.
Right, so this is a good way to give yourself a mark, right? And then based on that, or ask your teacher to evaluate. So what is my asset? What am I good at? This will bring you a lot of confidence. And next time you feel anxious, you think, but my posture is like 10 out of 10, so I'm really confident this is going to work today. So
I think I've seen some comment in here that my teacher always says you can only control how you dance, not how the judges judge you and who else shows up, from Trend. We of course, I think, absolutely agree with that.
Point, yeah.
And we guys must not forget that we are competing. And basically, we are being compared, but based on our dancing. We are not being compared so much. We're compared to our competitors, but our competitors, they have no influence on how well we can dance. And I think this is one of the very difficult parts of our physical activity, our form of, art and sport. And the easy part as well. I think the easy part is that the reference point is definitely ourselves. The difficult part is that, how they say, look in the mirror, that's your enemy. So that's a
difficult point.
That's the difficult part, yeah. You are really against yourself in a way. And when you're competing with yourself, and with yourself only. we are not going into all this dance politics. That's not the topic of today's live. Maybe we will have another live. I don't want to put myself in trouble. But the judge looks at you and you are in total control of how well you can dance. That's really what you have to...
That's the reality.
That's the reality. You have to remember that. Doesn't matter how many competitors out there, how many rounds, who came, like you just commented. So this is an exciting and easy and the difficult part at the same time about dancing. If you guys have any questions or any comments, we will do maybe another 10-15 minutes. We have to wrap up because it's been over an hour and we don't want to take your time on this Sunday morning, afternoon.
So let's read one more. I like to compare my video from my most recent comp to the one before that. If I see improvement, I am happy, and that propels me towards the next competition.
Absolutely agree. I think that's a great attitude, and I can also say that if you are doing some competitions, let's say you're doing Beach Bash 2017, 2018, 2019, you can always compare your 2019 Beach Bash with 2017 Beach Bash, and this is also a very clear time frame over the years, over a period of time, how much you're improving. Or you are going, let's say, to, I don't know, you're going to Blackpool and you're thinking, well, the last big event before Blackpool I was in I don't know, 48, so now I want to do better and I want to be in quarter-final in Blackpool. But the problem is that the Blackpool before, you were in 96. So you're setting a goal, you want to jump 2 rounds ahead. I'm not saying it's an impossible goal.
You're saying to compare it to the same event a year ago.
So compare it to the same Blackpool a year ago. And I think this is, from my own experience, this is an adequate
better option,
goal here. Yeah, don't compare it to a small competition before and say to everybody, well, now I'm going to beat everybody because that one-time event I beat them.
This has been useful. Thank you,
thank
guys.
You.
Thank you so
Emma.
much.
Yes, we hope that helps. And of course, there is much more into it. There are many physiological, psychological factors, processes. It took us many years to study that and to practice that afterwards. So it's very hard to put everything in such a short time.
But I should say there is so much more to performance layer, obviously, and not just how you react, not just this anxiety feeling, but many other different interesting subjects that we can talk about based on performance.
Sure.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you guys for your kind words.
Thank you for staying with us for the whole hour.
Yeah.
We've seen
even
that.
More.
Yeah, even more. We've seen that you guys were there all the time.
Yeah, we really enjoy you guys as our audience because we always can interact with you. You're asking questions, so you are a great audience. And we will save this video. It's gonna be pre-recorded, available at our YouTube channel and on our website yaroslavlilia.com.
And on our Facebook on Prism Method.
Sure. Actually, we have some exciting news for our Prism Method. We are collaborating with our friends, with the other professionals in the world, and we now have some syllabus closed gold variations available for you for free on our website. And
in Latin, you mean?
In Latin, yes, international Latin.
So not only standard now, but we have some Latin videos. Don't worry, it's not us.
Yeah.
It's some other professionals that we've worked with.
It's a great professional couple, Andrei Voloshka and Katya Kirilenko. They were very kind, they recorded it. And also, very, very soon, we will have some basic closed gold smooth syllabus coming. And we are very lucky that our friends, but the best smooth dancers in the world, Nick and Victoria, they recorded those videos. So we are in the process of posting it.
Yeah, we are very excited for them to join
our website.
Our project.
Our website. Let me.
The link.
Yeah. So here is the link. Can you see the link, guys? All right. So this is our link, and you can go ahead and click on it. So we have all that free material in our virtual dance studio section in our website. And also we have our pre-recorded course on posture.
That is always available.
Everybody who got it so far, they're very happy. That course is always available. You don't need to have any subscriptions or anything. And the way we put it, this is kind of material that you can come back to it anytime and rewatch it. You actually can really fix your posture, because if we're talking about posture layer, that information is very set. If you have certain angles in your hands and you know the sequence and everything, you will be doing it 10 out of 10, of course, with some practice.
And the great thing about the course is that as soon as you purchase it, as soon as you learn the lessons, you can get a free lesson with us, and you can get the feedback on whatever you're doing from us at this free lesson that we can provide for you based on the posture.
All right, guys, thank you very much. We're looking forward to seeing everybody soon in real life. Maybe we'll see somebody at Emerald Ball. Maybe we'll see somebody next week on our lesson. We are very grateful you joined us today, and we will think about our 5th Facebook Live next month and come up with some interesting subject. If you feel like
you have any suggestions,
please let us know. I think we will do it before we're gonna leave to Kyiv, Ukraine next month. All right.
Yeah.
So 4th Facebook Live. I never thought it's gonna happen for already 4 months.
Thank you for joining, guys.
Thank you very much. Have a good Sunday.
Yes.
Bye bye.
Have a blessed Sunday. Bye.